We acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the traditional custodians of the land, and we pay our respect to their elders, past and present. Hello, welcome to another episode of The Bulletin. My name's Kleo. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. As a gift for you being here, I'm going to start with one of my kind of poorly presented metaphors, okay? But I promise it's going to lead into some good news, so just stick with me. So imagine you finished your week of work and your boss hands you this $100 note with our queen on it there. And then you look over at your colleague and she's been handed this $77 note. But you guys have both done the same job. Well, actually, you don't have to imagine it because that's the reality of working life in Australia. However, a piece of legislation that's about to be introduced into Parliament is seeking to improve this glaring discrepancy by making companies with more than 100 employees publish their gender pay gap. And the data is going to be made available on the Workplace Gender Equality Agency website, or WGEA.
We'll legislate this year to include gender pay equity as one of the objects of the Act.
What? Yes. It's a bold new move, but it's a massive step forward for gender equity in the workplace. And I personally find it really, really amusing because we'll get to watch employers squirm as they try to justify why it is exactly that they can't just value women and gender diverse workers the way they value men. Hey, just really quickly, while we're talking about pay gaps, did you know that on average union members earn $9.60 per hour more than non-union members, I should say? That is per hour. So we're just going to have a look at this. Take a look at this graph that shows the weekly earnings of members versus non-members. Whoa, there is truly, I honestly think, no better reason to join a union. My God, that is a stark contrast. Anyway, in more good news, which I know is unprecedented on this program, the expanded paid parental leave scheme is one step closer to being a reality for working parents. And as a working parent myself, I am effing stoked. The bill was debated in Parliament earlier this week, and the new expanded scheme will mean parents get more leave. They can share it more easily between parents, including on a flexible basis. Wow, it's almost like the laws will be reflective of the modern Australian family instead of some antiquated system that doesn't suit the demographics of this country anymore at all. Did you know, as it stands, Australia has the second worst paid parental leave of all developed countries? Yes. I'll give you one guess who's the worst. Did you figure it out? Did you figure it out? Can you kind of guess from everything? Anyway, before we sign off, I'm actually going to give you a couple more tidbits of good news. Numero uno. Family and domestic violence leave came into effect on the 1st of this month. And that's going to afford anyone in any work arrangement and any industry to access 10 days of paid leave, because it costs on average $18,000 to leave a domestic abuse situation. So it's going to be an actual lifesaver and a life changer, and we should be pretty stoked. And my second little tidbit of good news is that the Wednesday that just passed marks 16 years since the case against the building materials company James Hardie came to a very satisfying end. Very satisfying. The brave actions of former workers and their unions saw the company agree to a massive compensation deal. So that was February 8th, 2007. But for more on that, subscribe to our channel and be the first to watch our little mini doco on the case. It's going to be a ripper, I promise you. Before we leave this episode of The Bulletin, I have someone that wants to just say hi, okay? So, hey Socky, how you doing? Yeah, good, Kleo, how are you? Do you want to do the sign off for us? Sure. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Bulletin. I'm Kleo Cruz. Bye.